Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, Hot Seat Central. This is one of my favorite type shows. We're going to talk about who's up and who is down. So let's not waste any time. All right, folks, this was done by SEC Mike on X, and he put together, well, this is the SEC, but I included one other team and one other coach. And this is all a scale of 0 to 5 as far as who's on the hot seat. And like I said, I included Ryan Day in this. This is a guy that was probably sitting at a 4 as far as a lot of people wanted him gone. A lot of people wanted him fired. This had everything to do with the Michigan game.
It's got to be America's team.
Now, I had spent a lot of time trying to understand why Ohio State was so down on this guy. Now, not everybody, but there was a very loud group, and it wasn't like 5-10%. It was about 25 or 30%. And I've read a lot of their comments because I've been covering the Michigan sign-stealing scandal with Connor Stallions and all of that.
The sign-stealer guy.
And trying to see if there are any other tentacles from that. South Carolina, I'm looking in your direction. So I know quite a bit about the Ohio State folks, and they were just wearing this guy out. Well, I promise you this, he should be at a 0 right now. He's probably at a 1 or a 2, so it's dropped the temperature on him as far as a hot seat. But the guy wins at an 87% level, and they haven't had any scandals. But again, I guess if you're at Ohio State, you're born on third base, and you'd better get to home plate, which he probably will this year. I think they'll win it all. I haven't seen anybody else that can match up with them. Oregon, which was undefeated, #1 team in the country, and had beaten them previously by a point, just got absolutely boat raced by them. And you know what they did to our VOLS. Jeez. Anyway, let's get into the SEC part of this. We're going to start out with Kalen DeBoer, who's sitting at number 4. This dude, look, he's not going anywhere. You'd have to pay him $60 million. Alabama.
My Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah. Kangaroo knows. And I think his old offensive coordinator is becoming available, so he might pick him up. But he needs to turn it around. 9-4. 9-4 to Alabama. I don't know that Nick Saban ever lost 4 games after his first season down there. So he'd better get it turned around. Those folks are not going to put up with that crap. Next fellow on the list is Sam Pittman. He's at a 4 right now. Last year, he was at a 5.5. He had a little bit better season this year, went like 6-6, beat my Vols when we were on the road, and it was, dang, we should have won that game. Pittman gets another year. I tell you, at some point they're going to let him go. Now, they had to spend a bunch of money to bring John Calipari in there, which I don't know how good a deal that was. But anyway, Pittman better turn it around or he'll be gone. All right, Hugh Freeze at Auburn, sitting at a 4. Hugh has really been screwing up big time. He's been recruiting great. He's won everywhere he's been, but for some reason he fell in love with the Peyton Thorne quarterback, thinking he could get it turned around for him, and stuck with him for 2 years, which was a huge mistake. And I get it. If you've ever seen Peyton Thorne interviewed, he's super smart, probably going to make a great accountant or lawyer or whatever the crap he's going to be, but he throws way too many interceptions, and you don't get to do that in the SEC. Well, you do if you're at Auburn for some reason. Anyway, this is the most talented team that won 5 games last year. They'll get it turned around. I'll tell you what, you better turn it around quick, Hugh. People are getting tired down there. And they brought in the kid from Oklahoma, the former 5-star, who's, I don't know how good that's going to go. But they did get Deuce Knight. So eventually I think they'll be okay. All right, Billy Napier. Billy Napier was at a 6 about 2 months ago. And now he's sitting at a 3 because they finished 8-5, I believe, which was really good given the schedule and how they all started out. I mean, Miami just absolutely punished them in that first game. And from that point forward, it was like, we got to fire Billy Napier. We got to get rid of him. I want him gone. I don't ever want to see him again.
I would have rather been blown out. I don't know what to do right now. I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of in a my brain's a little rattled. It hurts me, like genuinely to my core. That defense legitimately turned itself around in 2 weeks. I put too much into this shit. Let's just call it what it is.
Fire Billy right now. Leave him in Knoxville. Simple. Leave his ass in Knoxville. It's as simple as that. He should no longer be the head coach of the Florida Gators because guess what? He doesn't deserve it and he's not capable of doing it.
This university deserves better, and these players, honestly, deserve better. These guys are ready to go, and this is not good enough.
And now they're singing a different tune because DJ Lagway came in and just kind of saved the day. And that guy did it with one leg tied behind his back because he had a hamstring injury. And he still, played well enough.
How about them Gators, baby? Big time W against old Lane Train. The Billy's cooking, boys and girls. What a fantastic game. What a way to close out senior day. What a way to close out the last game at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I was at home.
So Billy's sitting there in pretty good shape, believe it or not. I thought he was gone, and we were going to be dealing with Lane Kiffin, but that didn't happen. All right, Kirby Smart's at a 0. What's there really to say about Kirby? They're not going to fire him ever. He'll leave when he wants to. Let's move on to the next one. I don't even want to bother with that. All right, here's a guy in big, big trouble. Mark Stoops sitting at a 5. He's sitting at a 5.5. Mark's in big trouble. They went 4-8. He's never had a season like that I remember, certainly not in the last umpteen years. He's probably I think he's the longest standing coach in the SEC. He makes $9 million a year. Kentucky's in a bad position. If they fire him, they owe him like $40 million, which they're not going to do. So I don't know what's going to happen there. A ton of guys have left that are really good. They're bringing in a bunch of FCS guys. It's not going to be pretty next year. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. Kentucky, you're not in a good spot. But you've got a good basketball coach. And you got really lucky with Calipari leaving on his own. You couldn't have got any luckier. And y'all are good in basketball, and that's what y'all care about. And I'll be talking more about your basketball team. All right, Brian Kelly sitting at a 4. Brian Kelly. I tell you what, he's not looking good right now. They're spending about $20 million a year on recruiting NIL, and he didn't look so good.
And we're sitting here again. Talking about the same things.
And he never could break through at Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame has broken through, so I don't know. He's on the hot seat. LSU is used to winning everything, or they fire. You win it all, or you get fired. That's just kind of how it is down there because they know they got the talent. So this is a very important year for him. If he has another bad year, they'll probably have to come up with some money and get rid of him. All right, Lane Kiffin is sitting at a 0. Now, they didn't have a great year. I think they finished 10-3. Yeah, 10-3. They won their bowl game. He's not going anywhere unless he wants to, which he may very well at some point. He is a job-jumping fiend. We all know that. We know what he did to my VOLS, and he's done that multiple times. Not a guy you can count on, but he's at a 0 because Ole Miss wants him to stay because this is the most success they've had in forever. So I'm glad he's not at Florida. Let's just put it that way. All right, Jeff Leby sitting at a 3. What's to even talk about there? Mississippi State, we'll see. That's a to be determined. All right, Eli Drinkwitz sitting at a 1. We'll see how he does without Brady Cook. Brady has been a great find for him at quarterback, and he's really made a difference. Eli is feeling good right now. We'll see. I am not sold on Eli. I know a lot of people are, and that's fine. I'm not.
Yep. We're staying on business, Josh.
All right, Brent Venable sitting at a 5. That's bad. Oklahoma is very spoiled. They're used to being a blue blood, and they're now in the SEC. It's really tough here. It's rough in the middle and the bottom. They're used to having a bunch of easy wins. That's never going to be again, even if you play Vanderbilt right now. So he's on the hot seat big time at Oklahoma. Now, they extended him, a year ago? So they're going to have to pay him some money if he leaves, and they'll be going after Josh Heupel. And I've already told you, you're not getting Josh Heupel. We'll put up a roadblock there at Farragut, and you're not going any further west than that, Josh.
Believe that.
So forget that, Oklahoma. All right. Oh, God. Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer is a 0. He's at a 0. Coach of the year. Shane Beamer's coach of the year. This is hard for me. This is. His ascent this year, after he's lived on the hot seat for multiple years, and to suddenly and they're pretty darn good too. They got a really good quarterback. They got a superstar defensive lineman. They're signing their best players and keeping them instead of being a farm club like they normally are. I don't know if I can handle this. Shane Beamer, coach of the year, and sitting on the coldest seat there is.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
All right, let me move on. Josh Heupel, a 1. A 1. That's not too bad. That means you're safe as can possibly be, except a 0, which is even safer. Josh is doing fine. Look, we had a really bad ending to the year because we played Ohio State, who's just a juggernaut on fire right now. I think finally Day decided to let the offense be the offense and quit holding them back, trying to be tough like he did against Michigan. I will blame him for that one game. I'm not blaming him for the first couple against Michigan because of the sign stealing scandal, but this one was on him. But I think he's figured out I need to let my offense do what it does, and he'll be fine if he just does that. So Josh Heupel's fine. Here's the one positive of that game. We realized we got to up our talent level, and it's not going to be easy to do. It's going to take this. I don't know if our NIL can handle that. You know, we're sitting around 14, 15 million is the estimate. You need to be around 20 if you want to compete. So we'll see. I mean, we're still going to be a really good team. You can be, top 10, top 15, but it's not going to happen for you if you're going up against the very best like the Georgias and the Ohio States and those top 4 teams that are spending all the money. Steve Sarkisian at Texas. He's a 0, meaning that's a really good number. And Steve's fine at Texas. They have unlimited money. They're going to spend their 20 to 25 million on NIL. They have a great recruiting footprint. He's a good, solid coach, so he's fine. All right, Mike Elko is a 2 at Texas A&M. He had a great start to the season, really got the place turned around, had a bad ending, and he needs to be given a little time. He's a good quality coach. I think he'll be fine. And they got plenty of money. They got that big-time oil money.
Haven't you noticed? You got to be a man to play in my league.
Yeah, it comes in handy, too. I can tell you that. Now, let's talk about my favorite thing to discuss when it comes to the hot seat. Clark Lee. He was a 5, now he's a 1. And I got 2 words to why that changed. Diego Pavia. Remember that name, Hugh Freeze? You know, the guy that beat you 3 years in a row and went in the portal and said, hey, I'm right here. And you said, nah, I got Peyton Thorne. I'm fine. How'd that work out for you?
Oh, who won that fight anyway?
Yeah, Clark Lee's sitting fine, and Diego gets another year. So Lee is fine for another year. It's the best thing that could have happened to him. Anyway, so I'm happy for Vanderbilt. They got to go to a bowl game. They beat Kentucky, Alabama, and Auburn. They're the Alabama state champions, which is I never thought I'd see that day. I'm shocked. Anyway, so those are your hot seats and who's on and who's off. And I always enjoy that. That's fun. And that's SEC Mike that did that. And I kind of agree with most of what he put there. That was a pretty good job right there. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know. Continue to cover all these big college sports stories. See, that means a lot of stories. And right over here's the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And right over here's the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on the algorithm. Who knows? And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.